you don't believe in human rights, I don't
I
believe
believe in human rights, but I also believe that
Well, you
if
just
a
demonstrated
superior,
that you don't believe in human rights.
well, of course I do, but if a superior set of beings came down, then they would wipe the human rights off the map, and it
So
wouldn't
you
exist
believe in
anymore.
you believe in human rights unless a more powerful race of beings come down and kill us for food.
Jamie, do you know what might make a right?
Wait. Let's let Plants and Plates ask a question.
But again, the human rights are only important to me. They wouldn't be to some mystical group of beings.
Well, they're obviously not that important to you. If you'd be okay with a more powerful race of beings killing your whole family and everybody else, they're not.
I'm okay with nature, and that would be
So
nature.
his position is might makes right.
Yeah.
So you'd also have to appeal to saying that somebody's morally justified in abusing a child because they have the ability to do so.
Yeah.
Definitely not,
because the average woman.
So that's a contradiction.
No, it
That's a
doesn't. Actually. It
contradiction,
comes
then.
down to the fact that we, as society, decide what is right and wrong, and in
No, but that's
terms of
just
human
appealing to
rights,
popularity. That's a
no,
fallacy.
not at all. Because we have
Right.
a relative opinion, we have a relative view, and we
No,
have a
but that's
set of laws
appealing
to
to
make sure society.
popularity. Again,
to
that's
make sure
appealing
that-
to society. That's appealing to popularity. That's a fallacy.
And that has nothing to do with his analogy about aliens. I mean, that wouldn't be part of our society, right? And you said that they would be morally justified
Again,
in doing
it
that
goes
because
back
they
to the
can.
facts of necessity, and also the
They don't-
supremacy thing isn't really relevant there, because we as a society have a set of rules, and we determine that, like I said, humans are valued highly amongst us, and of course children need to be protected, and we all agree upon that.
But you just said that it would be morally justified for aliens to harvest humans, which I'm assuming most humans would say that's not right. So in the same scenario where most humans say it's not right to abuse a child, you would also have to say, to be logically consistent, that it's okay to abuse that child.
No, absolutely not.
So that's a contradiction in your view.
It's not a contradiction at all.
It is a contradiction.
Because
so you're saying might makes right is and is
abusing
not the
somebody's-
trait. Hang on.
abusing
You're
a
saying
child
it is and is not
hard
the
to
trait
say.
that makes it morally
Yeah,
justifiable.
it's an affirming negation of your own proposition. Strength is and is not the morally justifiable difference.
No, definitely not, because you're talking about something that is disgusting and isn't necessary, and we as a society have
In
determined.
this analogy, it's
Um,
not necessary for the aliens to eat
Like
us either,
all
is it?
animal use is disgusting and unnecessary.
But,
so
but
again,
when you were
yeah,
asking me
for
yes or
yourself.
no, is it morally correct or not? Like I said, I was answering the question the way I was answering it, because it's not a simple question. What I believe to be right and wrong, and what I believe to be correct, human rights, we all agree on human rights. But if there was a superior race that came down,
No, I don't agree with human rights on you. I think it would be abhorrent if a race of super beings came down and killed us all for food.
Well,
I
of
think
course
that would
we
be
wouldn't want it.
abhorrent.
We
So
try
no,
and-
I don't
we
agree with
try
you on
and
human
fight it
rights
off.
at all.
Of course we would. But if it happened, whether we liked it or not.
Yeah,
So therefore,
just
hang on. You just said
wait. This is where I would bring it back to Nazi Germany. Nazi Germany happened, but I'm not morally okay with it. You could say
Exactly.
the
There's a
same-
difference with something happening and something being able to happen, and you appreciating it or not.
Yeah, but
you can
also said
dislike
that
something.
this race of super beings coming down and killing all of us would be morally acceptable. That's what you said. So it's one and the same thing. You're
I
saying
mean,
that
ultimately, if you viewed it from above, then you're superior.
I'm not talking about the perspective of a super being of aliens. I'm talking about your perspective. I wasn't posing that to a being of super
we're
beings.
asking
I was
Jamie.
I was asking you.
Like, is your opinion consistent when you are the oppressor as when you are the victim? Is what we're trying to ask. If you're consistent there.
Again, it comes down to the fact that what I believe to be the case and what is the result are two separate things. And the result at the end of the day is the result.
I'm simply just saying, take your logic now as the oppressor and put yourself in as the victim in that same scenario. And what do you think? Like, does your opinions or your ethics change when you become the victim in the exact same scenario that you're doing now? You don't need to eat animals. You could be vegan, as you said. So therefore, if you were the animal and you as you said, you don't want to be eaten if an alien race came down.
Yeah, I think we've already got to a contradiction here, because he already said that he would be okay morally with a bunch of super beings killing us all for food, but he also wouldn't be okay with us as stronger humans oppressing children and justifying pedophilia. So I think that we've already reached.
No, not at all, because no one agrees with that. No one thinks anyone should be doing that.
Yeah, but that doesn't matter. I'm asking you, and also what society believes again is just the bandwagon fallacy. That's nothing to do with
even if I disagreed with that, the vast majority of people did.
pedophilia being okay isn't not okay because society says so. It's not okay because it's fundamentally wrong. Society believing it's okay.
But it comes down to the argument again. The winning side. You have to look at it like this. So, for example, if the Nazis won, and we'd all be living completely different lives.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean
what they believe in would be what is right. What we think is right and wrong is based on what we've learned and what we understand.
No,
but
that's
if we were raised in a society where
if the Nazis had won, a lot of people would still be anti-Nazi. I can assure you that.
Yeah, I was going to say,
but the a vast majority wouldn't. We would have been raised completely differently. We would have viewed Jews who would have been eradicated.
Yeah, but again, that's just appealing to popularity.
So,
that's just appealing. Wait. Appealing to
do-
societal norms is an appeal to popularity fallacy. Again, you keep coming back to that.
No, not at all. It's like
you keep saying it is the case because all of society says that pedophilia is wrong. That's the literal definition of the bandwagon fallacy.
No,
So,
not
Jamie,
at all. I think
how do you
it's the same way like
determine
how
ethics?
terrorists are formed. If they're raised under strict Sharia law and
But
all they know
Okay.
is
Yeah,
So-
sure.
Hang on. So all terrorists are Muslims straight away because they're raised under Sharia law.
Yeah, let's
I
not
didn't
get off
say that,
topic.
but
I just want to
it's
No,
quite
no, but
obvious that the vast majority of
exactly
active
what that
terrorists in the world right
entails,
now and
yeah.
extremists are in fact Muslim. Yes.
I think we've already reached a contradictory point here. So and also I don't think that you're ever going to believe in animals' rights if you also don't believe in human rights as well. So
I do
And if
believe in
it's-
human rights because I'm human.
know,
But
If it's an appeal to popularity,
you don't believe in human rights if a more powerful race of beings want to come down and unnecessarily kill us, though.
it's
an
one of
appeal
those
to
things. Of course,
popularity.
I wouldn't want to be eaten by some other beings. Of course, I wouldn't want to because I'd want to
but
survive.
Oh, okay. So then you are
on
consistent.
one part, I would want to survive and I wouldn't think it's okay, and we try and fight. But on the
Yeah,
other
but
hand, it is what it is.
Yeah, I know, but it is what it is. Isn't an answer to the question, is it moral? And also saying I want to survive isn't the answer to the question.
know,
is it
whether-
moral?
if you
I
went
said
to another
would it
planet-
be morally acceptable? And
If you
said,
went
yeah.
to another planet and there were humans on there, hypothetically, and they were doing some very sick things. I'm not going to go into detail, but they were doing some very sick things, and it was very normal over there.
Yeah.
You would have an opinion. You would say, "This is disgusting. What the fuck are these guys doing?" It wouldn't matter.
And I think in the purviews in the from the perspective of the victims on that other planet as well, they would all still view it as being morally wrong as well. And all of the oppressors on that planet, if the script was flipped and they were in the oppressee side of it, they would all agree that it's morally.
Well, it depends on who has the power. If you have the power,
That's
it doesn't
literally
really
what I
matter.
just said. That's literally what I just said. When you're in the position of being the victim, everybody all agrees it's morally wrong. But it's just that you're willing to discard your morality from the morality that you've constructed from being a victim. You're willing to discard that if it services you to be an oppressor. I'm not willing to do that. And if you think that it would be morally acceptable, and sorry, if you want to change your answer, you're welcome to. But you did say at the time it would be morally acceptable for them to do that. So
For them, yeah, absolutely. For them, it would be.
No, for you.
For me,
as a person, so there's two answers. It's morally acceptable and it's not acceptable. For me, I wouldn't want to be eaten. For them, it is morally acceptable.
Yeah, but
if they
I'm
won, they
asking you.
won. So
Yeah,
regardless of what I want, the
I'm asking
result
for
is
you,
the
though.
same.
Right. So
Can I just answer that point then, real quick, guys? Because actually that's not actually true. Because what you're doing is you're taking this idea that there's two forms of morality. That there's one from the perspective of the victim, one from the oppressor. So going back to the example of Nazi Germany, we aren't the victims of Nazi Germany, nor are we the oppressors. We're a third party. So I think what you really should be thinking is, what is the third party who is actually not part of this entire situation? What is their, what do they glean from this? But also we should be looking at the victim, because in any situation we tend to look from the victim. Racism, sexism, homophobia. We come and we empathize with the victim, and we think, what would we want in that situation? That goes back to the entire first question, or why would you eat animals when you wouldn't want to be eaten yourself? And I'm kind of curious, so obviously I'm not sure if you are taking back what you said earlier, but
No,
I think you
I
are.
stood by what I said. Yes, it's morally acceptable on one half, and in the other half, it isn't. In my opinion, I wouldn't want to be eaten, but to them, it would be morally acceptable.
Right. So if it's not morally acceptable for them to do that to us, why is it morally acceptable for you to do that to animals? Because you predicated your
Because
logical.
to me,
your
it is
logical-
morally acceptable. because
Yeah,
we're
but
the
that's-
superior.
Yeah, but that's not an answer though, because then you
But-
just completely contradicted yourself. It's
Absolutely
not okay.
not, because to
No,
me
wait,
it's
wait, wait
morally
a second.
acceptable.
It's morally acceptable for you to do it to someone else,
Yes.
but it's not morally
Yes,
acceptable for them to do it
because
to you. That is a
we deem
contradiction.
ourselves. I deem myself as a human more important than a cow,
Right,
just
and
like an
that's- and
alien
that's a-
would
and that's
deem
a
itself.
contradiction. And that's
No,
a
it isn't. Like an
contradiction.
alien would deem itself more important than a human if it was
Right,
more
okay,
superior.
but wait a second. Let me just explain this because I don't feel like I'm breaking this down any more simply. You said it's not okay for them to do it to us. You said it would be morally acceptable for them. That's all well and good. That wasn't the question whatsoever. You said from your perspective as the victim, it would not be morally acceptable for them to do it to us. So again, if you say it's okay for us to do it to animals in virtue of the fact that we value ourselves higher and we're more powerful, why is it not okay for them to do it to us by your own admission, but it is okay for you to do it to animals by that exact same logical framework?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll
That's
answer that for you.
That's affirming negating your own proposition. That
No,
is
not at all.
a
Because to the
contradiction.
cow, it's not morally acceptable.
We agree.
We agree.
To the
yeah.
cow, it isn't morally acceptable. To me, it is. So when it comes to the aliens, it's morally acceptable. To
Right.
me,
So hang on,
to be
hang on.
But wait a second. From your perspective of the aliens, forget the cow's perspective, forget the aliens' perspective. From your perspective, right? Your perspective, singularly, one and only you, it is not okay for the aliens to come down and kill all of us, but it is okay for you to kill all of the cows and all of the pigs for the same logical
Exactly.
justification. Right, so that's a contradiction.
No, it isn't a contradiction because again,
I've literally
we
spelled it out here. I
view
literally
cows
just spelled
as
that out.
less important than humans, and so
And
aliens
Which
would
the
also-
aliens would
and
No,
not.
what
aliens
we do
do
is
us.
asking you to see cows and humans on a level playing field.
No,
Yeah, but
you
I
think-
can't
no,
because it's a cow.
It's more than a fucking pair of shoes or a burger.
We're going round.
No,
in
but it is a
circles.
burger.
We're going
No,
round
it
in
isn't
circles.
a burger.
We're going
It's
round
an
in circles
individual.
here. I've literally spelled it out for him why it's a contradiction, but he keeps disagreeing.
Yeah,
It's not a
Jamie,
contradiction because
it's a
I don't believe a
contradiction
cow
because-
is as important as a
Right,
human.
and an alien doesn't
in-
believe you're as important as
Exactly,
an
and that's why if they killed us, it would be okay because they
I
were more
don't
superior.
think a cow is as important as a human. I just think they're important enough not to fucking kill for no reason.
Well, I don't kill them for no reason. I eat them.
No, you pay someone else to do
Like
it.
it-
It's the
Oh,
same.
you know how many kills I have and haven't eaten?
Yeah, but you
Hold
needlessly.
the logic a little bit
Yeah,
here.
you said
You
you could be
needlessly
vegan.
kill them. Needlessly, that's the salient word there. Needlessly, you don't.
I
need
don't
to do it.
needlessly kill cows. No.
You said you
If I could change the logic a little bit, I have a route we can go on this. So, like, I'm assuming, Jamie, you would say it's morally wrong to eat a human, right?
I wouldn't want to eat a human.
No,
Do-
that's not
yeah,
what
but
I
do you,
asked.
do you think it's morally unacceptable for somebody else to eat a human?
I believe it's morally unacceptable for another person to eat another person. Well,
Okay.
yeah, I mean, to kill someone for the intention of eating them and eating them, I don't believe in cannibalism at all. No.
Right. Okay. So that means that there's some sort of trait between humans and animals that makes it okay to kill and eat animals, but not to do it to humans. So I'm interested to know what the trait is that you think there's a moral difference between.
Your question is why is it okay to kill and eat animals that aren't human, but it isn't okay to eat other humans?
Yeah.
No.
So there's got to be some kind of trait between the two that distinguishes them.
Because we, or my understanding of what a human is equal to me, and I'm more important than a cow, and therefore they're more
Okay.
important than a cow.
But what distinguishes? Are you saying like species or DNA or like what makes it a human?
I
more
think
superior?
understanding what a human is comes down to common sense. We
Nah,
don't really have any other.
It's a common sense fallacy.
No,
Yeah,
but
you need to.
we don't have
you
any
need to
other
describe it. So I'm saying like
similar.
what- yeah,
Go
but
ahead.
what trait gives humans? So there's a distinction in your mind, right? So what is the trait that makes it a distinction for you?
Well,
Are you saying
the
like being part of the
ability
same
to-
species?
The ability, well, there's quite a few things. The ability to actively communicate, the ability to think, and anyone that appears to be a human is what we would consider to be equal to us. So we just understand as society that fellow humans are equal to us, and therefore we wouldn't want to kill them and eat them.
That's an appeal to popularity. We
Well,
understand.
it's my
we-
opinion.
we-
I don't think we should kill
Right, it's your
humans.
opinion, but it's still a fallacy. Saying we as a society, that's you saying everybody in society agrees with me, so it's my opinion. I'm
Well,
right.
we
Yeah,
as the
That's an
I'm
appeal to
asking you-
popularity.
And when if veganism becomes mainstream, you would be the ones who are right, and I would be, the
Yeah,
one
but
that's trying to argue.
That's not how morality works, right? So
Yeah,
everybody
that's
has
not how
subjective
morality works
morality.
at all.
So we're
Exactly.
asking you subjective.
Exactly. It's subjective. So to me, it might not be right, but the mainstream, it is.
Right, right. Sure. I mean, for Jeffrey Dahmer, eating people was moral
Yeah,
and
and if
acceptable.
every
too.
other person ate people, then it'd be normal and it'd be okay.
No, it wouldn't be.
So wait.
It
So
wouldn't
you're
be,
saying
it
if
wouldn't be okay to you, and it
No,
wouldn't
hang
be
it,
okay
on.
to me.
it would be a regular part of society, but it wouldn't be okay, and you just agreed with
Well,
that.
what do you
You're
define as
limited,
being
though.
okay? Something that's
Can I,
acceptable.
can
Something
I
that
just
is
draw
accepted.
this back then
No,
to
I think again, when you're in the position of being the victim, everybody agrees that something's wrong.
Well,
Nobody
no,
would
to
want
you
be
as the victim, it's not okay. Of course not. But as
Of
society,
course,
it is okay.
so we all agree. Society all agrees that it's
obviously
wrong. That's it.
In
Yeah, but
society,
we're not.
the majority of society eats animals, and it is okay.
But we're not
in
asking
Nazi
society's
Germany, the
collective
The
opinion. We're
majority
asking
majority
of
of
yours.
society
society
once
was
upon a time
agreeing
thought
that.
slavery was
Hang on,
okay.
guys,
It thought that women
guys.
didn't have rights. It
Yeah,
thought
and
that
at the
people of color
time,
couldn't travel.
regardless of what
Yeah,
you thought was right or
we're
wrong,
capable of
Okay.
challenging
at the
society.
time, it would have been right for those.
Can I?
No, it would have been a societal
No, it was
norm. It
never
wouldn't have been
right.
right. It was never right. It was a societal norm.
What
never
is right
fucking
and what is
right.
wrong
If it
is
was
down
right,
to
if,
an
if
individual
it was, if
perspective.
it
Can I
was
produce a
actually right at
hypothetical
the
here?
time, if it was actually right at the time, it would have never changed. They
Let's.
changed it because it was wrong. It was a societal norm,
Well,
but
it
it was
didn't change.
morally
It
wrong.
changed when times changed, and at the time when it was
And it
active,
changed because it
when
was
it
wrong. Yeah,
when
they
it was
changed it.
active,
Times
when it
It
was
changed because
active,
they
changed
of
were
because
course it's
things were
right.
people
wrong.
like us campaigned against it and got it changed.
Exactly, and now it's right not to own a slave. Now we agree that no one should be owning slaves, and it's in line with my
Wait. So
morals.
let me ask you, Jamie. You think like what's popular makes something moral? Is that what you're saying?
No, what you believe to be right and wrong makes it is the morality.
Right. So we're
But
talking about your subjective. It has nothing to do with the popularity of like a society.
again, I'm talking about what I believe to be right and wrong. Doesn't matter. All that matters is what is accepted.
What does that
Sorry,
have
I'm a
anything
bit
to do? We're asking
confused.
your subjective morality, though. That's what we're questioning, not society as a whole.
Sorry, repeat that.
If you're so, we're asking you your subjective, experience. We're not asking what society as a whole believes. We're not concerned with that. We all know that most people, enjoy eating meat. And if you do, then we're trying to find out like what your own morality is. It has nothing to do with what society's is.
Yeah, no, but if I believe it's okay to eat an animal and the rest of society didn't think it was okay, then it wouldn't be okay for me to do so.
So you're basing your
That's-
moral framework on society then?
Yeah. So you think
Well, it would be
society makes
morally
more?
okay in
Society
my opinion,
that
I would think
dictates
it would be a great idea,
your moral framework.
but the rest
Society
of
dictates
society
your moral
wouldn't think it's
framework.
okay, so therefore it's not okay.
Right,
'cause
but you keep
society
you
don't
keep
allow
saying
it.
society because I believe that it's okay, and also if society all agrees it's okay, then it's okay. That's you
Yeah.
letting society
No,
dictate your moral
no.
framework.
Again,
That's
like I
literally
said,
the definition of the bandwagon fallacy.
no. What I
For the-
said is
for
what
the
I
50th
believe to be
time.
right and wrong, and that feeling I get is irrelevant to what is
Please
happening.
correct me here though, because I'm not sure if I'm getting confused. But essentially, you're saying for you think it's either right or wrong. But then you go and you suddenly go from subjective, and you then say about society, and then you make an objective claim and say it is wrong if society it's
Right, it's a contradiction.
yeah.
No,
Because
no. There's a
essentially-
difference between what is okay in society and what you believe is morally right and wrong.
Right. And nobody.
But you also keep bringing up society as well. You say that I subjectively believe this is true, and if society all says it's true, then it's true. That's a complete contradiction because you're appealing to subjectivity and objectivity at the same time.
And we're talking about your subjective moral view, right? We're not talking about your neighbors, the person down the street from you. We're talking about your subjective moral view. Like, I don't
Okay,
care
so
what
if
society
the
says.
question is it okay? Do I believe it to be morally okay for me to eat a cow? The answer is yes.
Right. So, I mean, so we're going to ditch the whole popularity thing because that has nothing to do with this. That's
And
my
we've
main point.
established-
Yeah,
Absolutely.
exactly. If you're asking my opinion on whether we should eat cows, the answer
That's what
is
we've been
yes.
asking you the whole time. Yeah.
Yes, of course we should eat cows.
Right. So what I would ask is, if it's not okay for a race of advanced super beings to eat you, if you believe that to be morally wrong, based upon the same logical justification
yep.
that you gave for eating cows, why is it okay for you to eat cows?
Well, it comes down to the fact tough luck. That's what it comes down
That's
to.
not morality at all.
So
moral
might
or
makes
not,
right.
It doesn't. It's
ba-
irrelevant
so-
if it's
so
moral or
basically,
not.
if your answer is tough luck, then it's basically I just sexually assaulted a 4-year-old girl. Tough
Yeah,
luck.
I mean,
Dad.
honestly, if you're consistent with this, I'm concerned for anyone around you. I'm hoping
Yeah,
that you just
no,
know
honestly,
that you've
it's-
buried yourself and you don't want to admit it. Because seriously,
Mike-
mate, if
Mike,
you are like
Mike,
this in real life,
Mike,
you should be on a watch list.
Okay.
Because you've literally
No,
got
because tough
a
luck. I can do
morality
whatever I
of,
want.
can
I
do
can,
it.
I
It's
can do.
okay for me.
Basically, I
Fuck
can
it.
do whatever
Yeah,
I want.
I think evidently because I have never been arrested, I've never been in prison. Clearly, what you're saying is completely false. But go
Well,
ahead.
yeah.
Hang on,
Not
guys.
yet. No, oh
So
yeah, not
obviously,
yet. I
obviously
better
this
watch
kind of,
out, huh?
yeah,
I mean,
No, no,
this is a
wait,
whole
wait,
I
serious
better
we're
not
being,
eat any more cows in case
wait,
I get
we're
arrested
being,
by the vegan
we're
police.
clearly,
guys, we're
clearly
getting off
being,
topic.
clearly
Guys,
being,
guys.
we are
The
clearly,
vegan police might come get me if I have a
we,
burger.
we are clearly
Stop.
being, we're clearly being facetious. But that being said, if you're moral, to be consistent with that moral framework, which is tough luck, then it's just essentially Adolf Hitler. I just exterminated millions of Jews. Tough luck.
Yep. And if I was Jew, and a lot of my family was Jewish, I don't believe
Right,
it
so,
was
so,
okay.
so you
But
believe
again,
it was right?
again,
Okay, so
what is
that's a
there?
contradiction then. If it's
No, it
if
isn't.
if
It
is
is what it
tough
is.
luck,
It comes down to it is what it is.
it is what it is,
If
but
you would
also
kill
it
me,
is
it is
what
what
it
it is.
is, right? So that's a contradiction.
It's
So we're
not a
not
contradiction.
It's a
we're not
complete
asking.
contradiction because you're
Because
saying
I don't
it
think
is
it's
what
morally
it
okay, but
is.
tough
It
shit.
is,
Hang on.
it is what
Let
it
me
is. Wait,
let me
wait,
examine.
it is what it is. Tough luck, but it wasn't
Exactly.
okay what Hitler did. It is what it is.
No, it wasn't
That's,
okay, but
that's
tough
a
luck.
contradiction.
Let me
That
It
is a
wasn't
let me.
okay, but tough
contradiction.
luck.
So
That is a contradiction. It is
we're
tough
getting
luck,
a little
but it isn't
confused
tough
here.
luck.
So, Jamie, we're not saying what is practical and what's most likely to happen. We're saying what is your moral view on this. So, I mean, of course, the more powerful thing is going to dominate the less powerful thing. We've seen that through history, but we're asking what is your moral opinion on this? It has nothing to do with what is more likely. So, if you think might makes right, then you'd have to logically you have to extend that to all scenarios. Otherwise, it's a contradiction.
Again, I stand by what I said. What I think and what is happening are two separate things.
Yeah, but he's not asking you what's happening. He's asking you what you think is okay. So
I've answered the question. It's
that's-
okay for me to eat a cheeseburger if I want to eat one.
He asked you if you think it's okay. You said it's okay, and what is happening? That's also a red herring fallacy because you're introducing completely superfluous information into the argument to avoid actually answering the question. That's also a red herring fallacy.
What is your question? Because it's not very clear here.
Plants and plays.
Because I've got 3 or 4 people asking different.
He was saying. Well, it goes back to the whole thing with the aliens, right? So, you were saying I'm wondering if what's your moral view on if it's right or wrong for aliens to Holocaust humans for food?
Again, what I think to be right and wrong, and what is happening, and what the result
Well, I don't
is.
care
are two
about what's
separate
happening.
things.
That's a red herring.
Your-
That's a red herring fallacy. He's just
it's
asking
almost
you
coming like a
simple
dodge
question.
to me at this point.
Yeah,
It's
no,
more
it's,
of a dodge.
it's not. It's a dodge, and it's also a red herring fallacy because he's also
Be-
just introducing this completely superfluous information.
This will be the 4th time I've explained already what your own personal moral view is. I don't care about what society says. It's your personal.
It's
moral
my
view.
personal moral view that it's okay to eat animals. Yes.
Yes. So is it okay to Holocaust humans for cheeseburgers?
No.
No. So okay. So what? Why is that then?
Because I don't think cows or other animals are as important as humans.
Right. So the aliens wouldn't think that either.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right, so that's a contradiction. Again,
That's a contradiction.
No, because to me,
Jamie,
it wouldn't matter because it had happened anyways, and
Jamie,
what I believe to be right or wrong doesn't matter at that point.
Guys, respectfully, I'm gonna head to bed at this point. There's been like
Yeah.
Does anyone want to go like head to head on this?
there's been about 50 or 60 contradictions
I'll
here.
go
So
head to
I
head.
think my job is done here.
Yeah, I'll go head to head. I think I got this, guys. Obviously, thank you so much. So Jamie,
Adrian, thank you, mate. Thank you.
Can I just confirm that you genuinely
Obviously,
don't
always
see a
welcome to have you in.
contradiction there?
The contradiction being that because I wouldn't believe it to be personally morally right for me to be eaten by an alien, and the result happening either way. So if I was a cow, like I said, I wouldn't want to be eaten. Therefore, I wouldn't think it's morally okay to be eaten.
Yeah,
But
I'm
I'm not a
simply
cow.
saying,
And
if
therefore,
you-
I don't care.
I'm simply asking if you were to change your position, like in this scenario where you are in one instance the oppressor and one instance the victim, does the morality or the situation, the do your opinions or your ethics change?
Morality is down to the individual as a whole. So yeah, it would change. I'd be a
Do you
completely
think
different
that we
being.
should consider the opinions of the oppressor?
Should we? Would you mean the person being oppressed?
No. The person who's doing the oppressing, the aliens or the humans, the people eating meat in this scenario. Do you think we should actually consider their perspective?
I don't think it'd be any relevance. No.
Oh, I agree. I agree entirely. For example, if you were being eaten by aliens, we wouldn't turn around and go, "Well, hang on a minute. The aliens are getting protein from your body."
We wouldn't think that, no. But if we were the aliens, we'd think it's okay.
Right. So when we become the aliens,
It's okay. Yeah.
but so you generally don't see a contradiction there.
No, because like I said, beings are selfish people. We care, and it's morally okay for you when it helps you. We don't
Well,
care
that's a
as much
separate.
about cows because we're not them.
Right. So then you agree with a child abuser abusing a child because they think that's in their best interest then.
No, because we as a
So explain
society
the difference
feel
then.
the difference is completely
But we
different
don't care
because
about
we
society. We're
have
asking about
feelings.
your
Ollie,
personal
Ollie,
moral
I'm
views.
going. Ollie, I'm going to mute you for a second. So I just want to see Plants and Jamie go
Yeah,
against.
I'm gonna head
Is
to
that
bed as
okay?
well, guys. It's lovely to have a chat with you guys.
So
Yeah,
again, the
I
Okay,
vast
agree
okay, dude.
as well.
Cheers, mate. Thank you.
the
I'll speak to
vast
you later soon.
majority
Hey guys,
Take it easy, man. Have a good one.
in a bit, bro.
yeah, so I was saying the vast majority of people, including me and you, know that it's wrong, or we strongly believe that it's wrong to do what you just said, and
What, for
therefore
aliens
it
to
would be
kill
morally
humans?
wrong to do it. So yeah, absolutely.
Wait, for what part? For aliens to holocaust humans for food?
You were talking about someone mentioned something to do with a
No,
kid.
for a child being abused?
Of
Right,
course, that's
right. But
morally
but
wrong.
we already went on this. So you said that the appeal to
Oh, I
popularity doesn't
thought you
matter,
brought
right?
that up. It was someone else.
No, I did bring that up.
Okay.
But I thought we also establish that what the majority of society thinks isn't necessarily right? Or are you going to walk that back?
It
Because
wouldn't be
before
right
you
to
agree.
me. No, it wouldn't be right to me. But
Right,
if I was on their side, there's more people that do think it's right.
right. And I'm asking your moral view. I'm not asking what's the popular
I've
view.
answered my moral view. It's simple. I think that I can eat a cow because a cow is less important. I don't care enough about a cow not to eat it.
Right. And so in the exact same scenario where humans were the victims, you think it would be morally acceptable?
Yeah, absolutely. If I was the aliens, it would be morally acceptable. Yeah.
Well, if you were looking in as a human on your own, you would think it would be morally
Then no,
acceptable.
because morality it changes depending on which side you're on.
So, so you're saying that if you're in a position where you have power over somebody else, then it makes it morally acceptable.
To you as an individual, it may be
Right, but I'm
acceptable. Yeah.
asking to
To
you.
you
I'm
as an
asking to
individual.
you. So
To
do
me
you
as
think?
a human, it wouldn't be acceptable. To
Let,
me
let me
as an
ask you.
alien, it would be
So
acceptable.
you think as a human, you think if you have power over somebody, it makes it morally acceptable?
If no, not necessarily if they're human. No, if it's someone else that's human, I believe in human rights. So no,
Right, but that's the same exact scenarios. That's a
it's
contradiction.
not because I believe that humans are equal to me. That's my view.
Right, but
And if I was
aliens
an
don't
alien, I
think
wouldn't think
humans.
that.
Right, but aliens don't think they're morally superior to humans. So you would have to say now that that's justified because they don't believe that.
So if aliens did think they were more superior, it
No,
would be.
if they did, like you're saying, if it was the exact same scenario, you'd have to also say that they were morally acceptable in doing their actions.
Yeah, they would be. If I was them and I was on their team, it would be morally
Right,
acceptable.
or even if you were standing outside of the reality of that, you'd have to accept that that's moral.
If I was stood there as a human, then no,
Yeah.
I probably wouldn't see it as moral.
Yeah, so I don't know. We're going in
Because
circles with
you'd
this.
be a different person. You'd be something else. You'd be just like when a lion's hunting, it doesn't see it doesn't care. Okay. But that, antelope or whatever, to that animal, it is morally unacceptable. They don't want to be eaten. But if that animal turned into the lion, then it would be acceptable.
Right, so might makes right is what you're saying.
What was that?
So you're saying might makes right. We're back to the circle again.
Depending
You're saying
on where you
if
are.
you're part of a class,
It's been that for a while, mate. And
yeah. So if you're part of a class that can do something to somebody, therefore you're justified in doing it.
If you're on the side and you've been raised to believe something and you strongly believe it's morally acceptable to you, then to you, yes, it is morally acceptable to you. And it may not be to someone else, no.
Right, but exactly. I mean, I agree with subjective morality, but I'm asking your opinion.
But what are you asking my opinion on? Because you're not asking it. We've come to
Oh
the
my
conclusion that I believe that I'm more superior than a cow.
Right,
And it's subjective to which side I'm on. If I was a cow, I wouldn't think that.
right. Obviously.
So I don't get, what is your question?
Well, In the same scenario, you're saying it wouldn't be morally justified for aliens to do to humans, even though it would be an identical situation where they were above humans.
Again, if I was the alien, I would think it's okay because I would be an alien who was hungry. Therefore, I would see humans as less important. And if I
Right, but
saw humans as less important because I was a superior being, I would think it's morally acceptable.
right, but I'm
Yes.
asking your opinion on that. I'm not asking what the alien's opinion is.
As a human, no, I wouldn't think it's morally
So you're
acceptable
saying
because I would be the person who would be inferior and I would want to try and survive. If I
so you're
was the
saying it,
alien, it would be okay.
so let's say so you're saying if you were part of a group that is more mighty, then you think it would be justified. If you're
No.
not, if you're the victim, then it's not justified.
What is morally right and wrong isn't set in stone. It depends on who you are.
Right, and I
what
agree,
your
and that's why I'm asking you
situation
your
is.
subjective opinion.
Yes, as a human, I would not
Right.
like to be eaten by an alien. It wouldn't be morally right because I want to survive. If I was an alien, I wouldn't care about humans. Therefore, it would be morally acceptable.
Right, but that doesn't that just is
I
your
don't
own
know how
species,
you
though.
don't
It doesn't have to
understand
do with
this.
the logic of it. I don't know. This is not really getting anywhere.
It's not getting anywhere.
We're going in circles again.
Exactly.
This is the problem, isn't it? Really.
I don't know. Kutola, I don't know if you have anything to add. Unless I could think of another way to go about this. It just
We just
seems like
completely and
getting...
fundamentally disagree, and we can't come to any sort of conclusion.
Well, yeah, I mean, you're saying if you're part of an oppressing class, then it makes an action moral. If you're part of the victim, then it's
No.
immoral.
If I was,
Yeah,
if I
basically.
suddenly skipped over, and I was still okay. So your question was if I joined the alien force. Is that your
Well,
question?
I could change it up. Let's say we found a group of non-humans, like I don't know if you've ever seen like Avatar or something, and they were less advanced than humans. Would we be morally justified in holocausting them for cheeseburgers?
That's a good question because we as society would determine their worth based on what they can provide, and at the same time their
Is that morally
intelligence
justified?
and their
though?
ability to communicate and their ability to show emotions, and that's how we connect with other people and animals. And if
Right, but
if
animals
we
can do all
deemed
that as
them,
well.
yeah, but it's down to the person. So if we deemed that other species as being
Right. I'm
important
not
enough,
asking what we would do as society. I'm asking you as an individual.
I would have to assess the situation and see what these beings were like.
So then, what gives them moral consideration and what doesn't?
Well, that would come down to what I thought at the time.
What you can get from them, you mean?
Well, there's so many different scenarios, and there's so many different
But
types
mainly
of
what you
beings
can
that
get
they
from
could
them.
exist. That could be, yeah, exactly.
Right. Okay. So that's not exactly moral consideration, is it?
Yeah, but
Well,
it would
no,
have
it
to
comes
be.
down to survival. Again, what I believe to be right and wrong, determined based on what I see.
Yeah, but what do you mean by what you see?
Well, you're saying if we went and found some, inferior beings on another planet, would it be okay to harvest them? That's not an easy question to answer because there's so many factors involved. We would make a judgment call in this hypothetical situation at the time, I'm sure.
Right, but where do we draw the line with morality there?
Well, that comes down to we make judgment calls based on feeling and what we feel. That's how we come to conclusions. So if you feel instinctively that it's okay to eat them, then to you, yes, it would be okay to eat them. And
Well, how do you feel now in that given hypothetical?
again, I would have to see what I'm dealing with. If it was a bunch of crab-like beings that didn't really have much to offer, they were just useless, then of course I would
Well, what do you
probably
mean
make
much
some
to?
soup, make some crab soup.
What do you mean much to offer though? What does that mean?
Like there's nothing. It just crabs around and it's just a crab. Like there's. What do you mean much to offer? What does a crab offer?
Well, I don't. No, I don't even know what you mean by offer. Like, there's plenty of humans that don't offer me anything. I don't
Emotional
think I should go
connection,
around unaliving them.
communication, the ability to think and speak, to have judgment and even communicate
Right. I
with
mean,
other
there's plenty of
beings. A
humans that
crab
don't
can't
have
do
judgment.
anything.
There's plenty of humans that can't speak.
Yes, but
Animals
we
can
we
communicate.
decided that they are human still, and humans have
But
human
what is
rights.
it about them being human that
But
matters?
in
Because
my scenario, I said they weren't human. So if they're not human, then that's not going to factor in.
again, it depends on the situation and how these beings were. and what the scenario was, if we needed to in that scenario, or if it just totally depends on so many factors.
But it doesn't depend on whether or not you need them to, does it? In so many situations.
No, it does. It does, because you have to weigh up the value and the interaction you have with this being, and the connection you have, and the emotional connection with
No,
the necessity factor.
not with a human that has no capacity whatsoever. You don't you don't consider any of that at all.
Well, they have the right to life, which is we all agree
Based
upon
on
that.
what?
Based on what we feel is right and wrong. And if I looked at someone who was in a
Which is
vegetable
what?
in a vegetable state, exactly, you can't answer that, because
Yeah, but how do
what
we
you feel-
determine that is what I'm asking you.
Exactly,
by
you
feeling.
can. When you look at someone and you feel empathy for them because they're,
So what happens?
dead.
What happens if I don't feel empathy
Why?
for somebody?
Then you don't feel empathy. Why do you
So
feel
then
empathy?
is it
Can you
morally
explain
justified
why
for me
you
to
feel
unalive
empathy?
them?
Can you explain why you feel it? You can't explain why. You know it's wrong or right. You
Well,
just
no.
know in your gut.
No, so I can extend logical things out to people and say, well, this person has a subjective experience, they're worthy of moral consideration. But I'm asking you, where's the cutoff? So if somebody doesn't, you're saying off of feeling. So if I don't have a feeling towards somebody, am I allowed to unalive them
You're
then?
talking. Okay, so your question is, what level of vegetable state would mean that a person is no longer a valid?
No, I'm asking like what specific traits does like a being have to have to have like moral consideration?
Again, it would be an instinctive connection or understanding that I'd have at the time.
Doesn't sound very specific, mate.
Yeah, that's very vague. Like, what do you mean
Okay,
instinctive?
again, like I said about five
So-
times, the ability to communicate with this being, the ability to relate to this being, the
Okay.
ability to learn from. There's
So
so
if I
many
have
factors.
if I have a mentally disabled person that I can't communicate or relate to, I'm okay with unaliving them.
No, because we already relate to humans. That's a human. We don't
But what
relate
if
to
they don't
aliens.
relate to
We
them?
have no
Not that
relation to
human, you don't.
aliens. We have no emotional connection to aliens. Therefore, we
But
don't
there's-
care initially as much about them, because we
There's
have
plenty
no
of people
relation with
that
them.
don't have emotional connection to any people, right? So does
Yes.
that give them the right to do that?
What do you mean, psychopaths?
Yeah.
as
Does
in-
that give them the right to unalive people?
Absolutely not. No.
So
Because
that's a contradiction then.
No, it isn't a contradiction, because I don't believe it morally acceptable to kill other people. That's my opinion. To those psychopaths, it would be okay. But we as society know that it's not okay, or we believe it's not okay, and therefore it's not okay. But to that person, yeah, it would be okay.
Determine to us why it's not okay.
We're going back to the society, what society believes again.
Again, what I believe and what you believe are two different things. So if there's
That's
two
I'm
people in a
asking your
room,
beliefs.
two people are in a room, one person thinks it's okay to kill people, and I think it's not okay. Okay? We are both equally in the same situation. I'm just as wrong as he is wrong to me. So
Right.
my
But I'm
opinion-
asking your opinion. I don't care about anybody else's. I don't care
I've
about
already
society's.
answered my opinion.
Right, but that's when we were talking about this entire time. You keep bringing it back to society, what other people feel. We're asking your personal opinion. That's the whole point of this.
Yes, I think it's okay to
Unless
eat
we
cows.
believe there's objective morality, but both of us agree that morality is subjective. So I don't really care what
that's
other people.
That's the thing. I agree that it's subjective. So
Right. So many people believe crazy things. So for us to say, oh well, he believes this or they believe this, it doesn't really matter to the situation because there's people that believe all sorts of crazy things. They care about what you believe.
Well, no, because I believe it not to be okay, and therefore, to me, it's not morally acceptable. No.
Right. So that's what we've been talking about this entire time. But you keep bringing up like populations, what society deems to be right. I don't care about any of that because that has no relevance to this situation.
No, it does have relevance because that's what the end result is.
Yeah, but I'm talking about your subjective morality. It has no relevance on your subjective morality.
I think we should keep it to my subjective morality only, because if we're talking about what other people think,
That's what I'm saying.
yeah. So
I'm saying I don't really care what society thinks or
but
what
I
other
was
people
keeping
think.
it to that, but people brought in lots of different scenarios. So how could I not talk about their morality?
Right, because if you do believe what society thinks is moral, then that would lead down all sorts of different rabbit holes of like different immoral things that have happened. I mean, you agree with that, right?
Say that again. Sorry.
Like there's so many different rabbit holes you can go down where if you believe that society believes something is right, therefore, it's gonna be something you're not gonna agree with. Like somebody was saying the Nazis before.
It's like it's like a law that you disagree with. I'm sure there's a law that you disagree with, right? Do you?
Yeah.
And is it morally right for that law to exist?
In my subjective opinion, then I would say no.
But is it morally right
No.
to you?
Yes, that's all I care about. Right. So if I'm asking you, I don't care about what other people think.
Exactly.
Right?
So to you, it's morally acceptable for the law to exist, but to the lawmakers,
Sure. Yeah, but I'm not asking your opinion. You keep bringing it back to like what other people's opinions are on these things. I don't care.
exactly. My opinion, I've been straightforward. I don't care about cows enough to not eat them. No.
Okay. Well, we got to go back over this again. I don't know, Gertol. I don't know if you have
even know
anything
what
to
your question is. You're not asking me a clear-cut question. You're asking me what my opinion is on other people's morality, what my morality is. It is morally okay for me to eat a cow. Yes.
Once again, yeah, I don't know if I have the power to go back all over all this again.
No, but you're not making
saying that it's
sense.
okay to eat a cow does not correlate with every other morality that you hold.
Right. So basically, what I was asking you before, I was asking you what is the trait in your eyes that gives something moral, like moral consideration. So you were saying people's feelings towards something. So then I said, if somebody doesn't feel,
I'm not going to talk about other people because every time I do, you say I'm.
No. I'm not saying that. But you're saying you said society's feelings as a whole determines what your opinion is.
Well, it's based on how I was raised, and of course, when you're raised a certain way, you're going to think a certain way. So as it stands right now, however I was raised, is the result, and therefore, it's okay in my opinion, and it
Right.
isn't
And
yours.
I don't doubt any of that, and I don't doubt that you hold that position. But the whole point of this is to try to find out why you hold that position.
You know, it's just one of those things. I don't believe a cow is as important as a human because I just don't think it is. That's my opinion. Why do I like red more than I do blue?
Right. So then that goes back to the whole thing where it's like, if somebody's oppressing somebody and they don't care about them, does that make it morally justified?
Again, to them, the people doing it, it would be okay because to them, it's what they believe in.
Right. I'm not asking their opinion, though. Then I'm asking yours. Because you're saying that
It would
makes it
depend on
morally
the
justified.
situation. What situation you're talking about?
So in a position of pure anarchy, basically, you're on the side of whoever has whatever opinion they think that counts for whatever.
Yeah, I'm in the other side of anarchy personally, but yeah, no, I believe that humans are equal to other humans, and I stand on that. I know that other people are equal to me.
Unless someone thinks that there's a moral obligation to think otherwise to what you think, in which case you have no answer to that at all because they think.
So you mean
differently.
someone like you're talking about the supremacy thing? If some
You think how you feel unless someone thinks something completely different, in which case you have
Okay,
no answer to that.
I'm gonna break this down and ask the question that I think you're trying to ask here, because again,
Go on.
you are not being clear at all with these questions. Is your question, why do I value my life more than a cow? Is that your question?
No.
Basically, what do I see as value in a being?
No, no. My question is, why do you think it's justified to take the life of a cow for no reason whatsoever?
Again, why do I like blue more than I do red?
What the fuck has color got to do with you taking
Because
the life
some
of a
things
sentient
you
being?
can't answer. You just don't
Yeah, but you
care.
can answer that. Why are you talking about color when I'm talking about life, man?
Because it's relevant. Because you're asking me a question. Why do I think it's okay? Why do I enjoy? Why do I like eating cows? Why do I like the color red? We don't know why we like these things. We just do.
Right.
Okay.
He's asking you, why do you find it morally justifiable? Is that right, Gertola?
Yeah.
Okay,
Why do
yeah.
I
So
find it
he's
morally?
talking about your morals, so
How are
like
you
your moral
supposed
framework.
to answer that question? It's the same as asking someone, why do you like red cars? Why do you like red cars?
Okay, so you telling me that you think someone asking someone why do you like 14-year-old children as opposed to
What the
19-year-old
fuck are
children
you
is
talking
exactly
about?
the same thing? No, don't fucking try and tell me that this is a different context and therefore it's so much
Well,
worse
no,
with
that person,
children.
although
Right?
that's disgusting
We're
and
talking
vile, they wouldn't
literal.
be able to
We're both
answer that question.
listen,
They wouldn't
listen.
be able to answer it because
Stop.
they don't know why they are
We're both
attracted.
adults here, right? They're both literals, okay? What can you tell me is the difference between the age difference there and what I've just posed to you?
There's no difference. If you were to
Right.
ask a sick individual why they like underage people, they wouldn't be able to answer the question.
Right, but the statement "I like it because I like it" doesn't make something morally justified. That's-
Okay.
Yes,
doesn't.
to you it
Well, you
doesn't.
just go, oh, it's,
Right.
it's fine because it's my opinion.
You're asking me, do I think it's morally acceptable to eat cows? And I've said yes. I don't
Based
care
on
if
what?
you or anyone else doesn't think it's morally acceptable because that's what you think. I think it's okay, and I don't know why I think it's okay to eat cows because we don't know why we like the color red. We don't know why we enjoy walking in the park.
And we
These are
don't
just
know why
things-
some paedophiles like 14-year-old children. right?
Exactly. We don't know why. Why do they? Tell me.
Okay. And you think that's morally justified based on?
No, it's not morally
Right,
justified.
exactly. It's not
He's
morally
not- he's not
justified.
asking your
The question
preference,
is
he's
whether it's
asking-
morally justified.
Is it we can't answer why people like red, but it's not morally justified then because we can't answer it.
There isn't a moral question in color, is there?
What are you
You're talking about a preference, right? So we're not asking why you have a preference for something. We're asking why you think it's morally justified, or you think it's not morally justified on something.
Because
You know-
I think my preference and me eating a cow and enjoying a steak is more important than the cow,
No, it isn't. Based on what?
based on my opinion and my thoughts.
So fucking arrogant.
Wait,
man.
so now we're back to the same thing again. So you're
That
saying
is
might
the
makes
whole
right. So you have a preference for it, and you have the ability to do it. Therefore, it's justified.
To me, yeah.
Okay. So to be logically consistent, you have to extend that onto all scenarios. So then somebody abusing a child would also be morally justified in that situation.
No, because like I said, we don't know why I don't know why I wouldn't want to do. Well, it's disgusting, but we don't know why we don't or do like things. We just do or don't like things. It's as simple as
Right,
that.
but do you understand that that's a contradiction?
No, not at all.
Because you're saying because somebody can do something and enjoys doing something, therefore it's justified, and you're also saying because somebody can do something and gets pleasure out of something doesn't make it morally justified. So you're saying the formal way to put this is
Again-
P and not P. So you're saying it's
Again, let
true
me
and
answer
it's
the
not
question.
true.
To that sick individual doing that sick act, to them, it would be morally justified to them.
Listen, this is like the 8th time I've said this. We're not asking their opinion. We're asking yours.
Oh my God! Of course, it's not morally. It's okay for me to eat and kill a cat, to kill and eat a cow if I want to. Yes.
So okay, so if
Just because you're
somebody
not
wants to
getting
abuse
the
a
answer
child,
you want, there's no point repeating the question because you're not getting. I'm not going to say, "Oh, I'm sorry. I feel bad for the cat." I'm not going to say that.
that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that it's a contradiction.
It's
I
not.
mean,
a
you just keep
contradiction.
repeating a contradiction over and over again.
You're
So your
repeating the same
justification, it's both scenarios are the same, but you're saying in one scenario it's okay, in the other scenario it's not. So it's a contradiction.
Well, if we deem something to be okay based on what you think is right and wrong, to you it wouldn't be okay.
Right, but I'm asking you.
If I was you, I wouldn't think it's okay, no, to eat cows. And
Yeah, I'm not asking my opinion. I'm asking your opinion.
how many? Oh my God, I think it's okay to eat cows. Yes, I enjoy it.
Yes,
Their life is
because-
less important than mine, and I don't have any feelings for cows. No.
Right. So if we take that same scenario and we put that into another situation, you're going to say that you wouldn't agree that that's a moral justification.
When it comes to eradicating another human, I do have
Yeah,
feelings for
exactly.
other
If you
humans.
put
yes.
it in another scenario, you're going to argue that it's not a
Right.
logical justification. Aren't
We
you?
have to stand on my stance. So if I was to have a person in front of me and I had the ability, which I do and we all do, to unalive someone, we don't because we know it's wrong and we don't want to. We don't know why we don't want to, but we know it's wrong. Why is it wrong? Who knows? We just know it's wrong.
Well, that's what we're trying to find out is why it's wrong. Because I can answer why it's wrong. I'm asking you why it's wrong.
To kill
To
another
unalive
person.
a person. Yeah, go ahead.
Because I value a human life.
Yeah,
Because I relate directly to another person. I don't relate to a cow. I don't know what it's like to be a cow.
so
I
if
don't
somebody
even care
else
what it's
didn't
like.
relate to another human, you would
No,
say it's
because
more like something.
We can
human
use me.
relate
We'll
to
use
that.
me for this. I don't relate to the other human. Okay, so we can
Mhm.
use me as the conduit for this. It's
Yeah.
fine. Okay.
It doesn't matter if you don't relate. If I think you relate, then you do in my mind.
What?
What do you mean, what?
I don't even understand what that means.
Okay, so you have a vegetable state person. Of course, I don't know what they're experiencing. But to me, when I see that person, I see a human being, and I still believe they have feeling. I still believe in my heart that they're a person. I don't know why. We just know they are, regardless of how different we are. To me, they're still a person.
Right, but what makes them a person? Are you saying like DNA or species, or I mean, we're going back in the circle now again.
What makes them a person?
Right.
So we want to go through biology and what makes someone a person.
Well, I'm saying when you're saying that as a person, right? So different people can mean different things. Are you saying like they're the same species as you? Is that what you're getting to?
The same species.
That is what you're saying?
It's what I deem to be that split second in time to be another person. When I look at someone, I can determine within less than a second whether they're a person or they're a cow. Yes.
Right. So it is species, is what you're saying. I'm not
yes.
asking how you determine. I'm asking what gives it value.
What gives it value is I value it. Why do I value it? I don't
You
know.
value
Why
it
do
because
I
it's a
value the
person.
color red? I don't know. Why do I like
Right,
Rolex
no, that's not
watches?
what I'm asking
I
you.
don't know why.
I'm asking you, you value it because it's a person, right? I'm not asking you how you determine it's a person. And when you say a person, I'm assuming you're meaning it's the same species as you, right? It shares the same DNA. It's a human being. I'm assuming that's what you're saying. So let's go back to the original thing I was saying, where you have another race of humans that's less, or not race of humans, race of aliens that's less than humans. Would it be morally justified in that situation?
Okay, so because instead of going around in circles again, let's not. If I was a spectator and it was two other species and one was more superior and we were viewing them harvest the other species, that's the only way we can answer this question. Because again, if we ask the same question again, yes, as the alien, I think it's okay for me to eat humans.
Well,
As
no,
the
I think
humans, it's not okay.
I think it's more relevant if we said we were oppressing another group of aliens, because that's what we're doing to cows. I think that would be more relevant.
Okay. Yeah. Then I would think, yeah, it's okay.
So it would be okay, like if there was like Avatar like people, it'd be okay to like Holocaust them for cheeseburgers.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, yeah, that's all I had to know, which is
Yeah.
definitely a fundamental difference. So
Yeah, some inferior aliens on another planet
Yeah.
that maybe let's
yeah, so
make some cheeseburger.
I think that's the reductio right there. I think most people would think that's absolutely absurd. So
Gotcha. Not me.
yeah, I mean that's fine. That's fine. All right, Cadola, that's all I had to say. So,
No, I completely agree with you.
yeah.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go make some Avatar cheeseburgers and a nice juicy steak.
You take care, pal.
Have
Yeah.
a good day.
We just
Right.
fundamentally disagree. Let's leave it
Yeah.
at that.
All right. You
Absolutely.
have an observed position that leads to contradictions.
Okay, yeah, and you're the minority, so yeah, take care.
Okay. Yeah, so appeal to popularity. Wow, that guy was dense, man.
Right, man. Thank you so much for that, dude. That
Yeah.
was such a fucking interesting conversation to listen to. I tell you.
Yeah, that was probably one of the most dense people I've ever talked to on this app before.
That was. I've been sat here, literally. I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you. I've been just chilling for a little while, listening to what you guys were saying, and that was so interesting.